What's your 3 biggest pieces of advice that you could give someone?
Okay, so I think the number one thing is, why should someone watch you? Because we all know how saturated the world of streaming is, just like music.
Yep.
What makes you different from other things out there? And that could be anything. You're like, well, I play Fortnite and I wear a banana hat. Oh, okay. Like, that's one thing that you could do that's different, but what else is there? What's underneath the banana hat? Number 2 would be, think about who your audience is and what do they want, and how do you organically and naturally make content that serves that particular audience. Third tip is learn enough about video and audio so that you look and sound good. Because if there's 2 choices on your table, one stream has this dude who plays a game that you like, and this dude plays a game that you like, and they're almost the same, but one of them looks and sounds better. If you don't know that person yet, there's a really good chance you're going to go to the one that looks and sounds better and get to know them.
Right then. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Welcome back to the 2nd episode of the Steinberg deep dive into creation. And it's so wonderful to see so many people here already. Hello, Enderprize crew. We're going to be talking to your captain today, which is, I think is an appropriate way to put it, seeing as what this man does on stream is a fantastic amalgamation of space games and drumming. And, well, yeah, I'm not going to say too much, but thank you everyone for turning up. This is the 2nd episode. It's so wonderful to have so many people come back from last time. And yeah, I guess we're just going to dive straight into it. We're going to talk creation. We're going to talk some really cool stuff today. And this guy has some incredible tech, which I cannot wait for you all to see. But yeah, here's the man himself, Enderprize.
What's up, Internet? Hello to everyone.
How are you doing, man?
I'm great. You and I just figured out all the technical issues, and we're good to go.
Yeah, it's always, when you have stream setups as complex as ours, no matter how much time you pour into it, there is always something that goes wrong. Even though you know your whole setup inside out.
Oh, yeah.
There's something.
I mean, but you and I, like, we're probably 2 of the most technologically streaming advanced people that do this kind of work on Twitch.
Yeah, I mean...
So it was a very fast conversation between the 2 of us, like, how about this? No. How about this? No. Like, we troubleshooted that in, like, what, 4 minutes?
Yeah, we fixed it at 1 minute to 7.
Yeah.
So...
Pro style.
Yeah, we got this. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Obviously, this is the 2nd episode, so we had Tyler on last time, who he runs a podcast called Go My Favorite Sports Team, and we chatted to him about just his content creation journey. And I'm loving this because each week I want to have someone who's like a contrast to the previous person, and you could not be a bigger contrast to what Tyler does. So yeah, for everyone who is here who isn't in the chat one of your peeps, tell me about yourself. Tell me everything.
Yeah, sure. So I go by Enderprize on Twitch. I have been a musician my entire life. I started playing piano at age 5. I got into drums at age 11. Drums took over my life. I played in every single band all through high school. I knew I wanted to leave my little Michigan town. I went to Boston to go to Berklee School of Music, and then I spent about 10, 13 years touring, playing in as many bands as possible, traveling as much as possible, and teaching music lessons in between. And then when the lockdowns all happened and we all got trapped in our homes, I needed something else to do. And my students were like, you would be a good streamer. And I was like, I don't know. Is that a thing I want to do? So I looked into it and I was like, let's give it a try. And within a year or so, I got partnered and I went full-time about 5 years ago. And now I'm a full-time live streaming space drummer who has a room full of cameras and musical equipment. And I mix my passions together weekdays, trying to play video games and find unique ways to put music, drums, and piano performance into that show without seeming like pause video game, play drum, pause drum, go back to game, like to make it smooth.
I think the one thing I love about your stream is, so you play obviously, I say obviously, to everybody who doesn't know Enderprize, he plays a lot of Star Citizen, hence my, captain reference at the start. But I mean, the first time I found your stream, you were playing Star Citizen, but you were playing drums while you were in hyperspace, which, I mean, no one else, I don't think there is anyone else out there who does anything like that, music and gaming wise. And I would love to know just a little bit about how that formulated from, from your students saying, obviously, jumping on to stream, because I had a similar thing myself. Like, where did that come from?
Well, for me, when I decide I'm going to do something, I spend way too much time researching that thing. And when my students were like, you should be a streamer, I was like, what is streaming? How do they find audiences? What makes streams compelling to watch? Like going through all of this. And then at the end of that, I was like, what do I have to offer the world? And I was like, well, other than just me and my presence and my voice, I have a deep passion for music and decades of experience playing music. But I also have a lot of video game experience because my father was an arcade game distributor through the 80s and 90s.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was always going to arcades, helping him fix video games as much as a little kid can help fix games. So I wanted to find a way to combine those two passions into one. And at the time, I was obsessed with Elite Dangerous, a game I began playing in 2015. And in that game, you have a lot of, it is a great game. You have a lot of downtime when you're flying in what's called Super Cruise. Sometimes you'll be sitting in Super Cruise for 5, 10, 15 minutes sometimes with nothing to do other than look at the out the spaceship, right? So that's when I was like, what if I played drums during that time in the game where most streamers just talk?
Yeah.
And that was the pitch. That was the concept. And it took me a couple years to figure it out, but I've really got that figured out now. And it's a big part of what I do with my show.
Well, yeah, I mean, content creation is all about engagement, isn't it? And I think chatting is always a fantastic thing, but being able to play people's choices of music as well. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't love some form of music, and being able to combine that with video games it's pretty ingenious. Like I say, it's when you hear about it, you go, hey, that seems so simple, but putting it together and getting those ideas initially is fantastic. So, I mean, speaking of playing music, obviously, we know you play drums, but equipment-wise, what do you have? Because you've just showed everyone all the cameras.
Yeah. So right now I'm playing a Roland VAD 507 electric drum set. I have 5 cameras on that drum set right now. There's a top down. There's one on the left side. Here's one on the right side. Here's one on the kick drum pedals. And here is a 31-inch rail mount slider that goes left to right, back and forth while I'm streaming to give you that ever so nice cinematic view from the drum set.
I love that view.
I play an electric kit because I live in an apartment in Brooklyn, New York, and I cannot play a real drum set here. I wish I could, but we all know the sound realities of being a drummer. So that's kind of why I landed on the Roland V kit.
Yeah. WTF Darky in chat says, I heard you have 11 cameras. Is that true?
It is true. It is true.
Because you have the ones on the drum kit, and then
there's 5 there, and then there's this one we're looking at. And then, of course, my desk camera, because I play a lot of space games. People need to see my joysticks. I'm a big fan of when someone says, hey, what's that? I can show you and not just tell you what that is. Because, again, you're always trying to engage the viewer.
Yeah.
I also have another camera over here, a little side camera. We've got a little eye in the sky up here. That's a PTZ camera, so I can actually look all around. You can see the ceiling. I mean, this room has like 24 different lights in there as well.
I just love that massive chunk of cables that's running up the corner there.
Oh yeah, because my computers are in the hallway. The computers are not in here. There's 31 cables that connect everything to the hallway. There's a hole above that door. I had to get permission from my landlord to do that. He said it was chill. And then I have a little piano
Good
camera
landlord.
back here. Yeah, exactly. That's my piano cam in the back because I also mix piano playing into the show. The way I've been doing that is when I fail in video games, I have a sad in the rain, black and white piano scene, and I play the Hulk music. Dun da na na.
Yes.
Dun da na na. I play that and look longingly into the camera while we all cry before I go back into game.
Oh, that's fantastic. The like say the amalgamation of all of the tech together is quite. It's an art form, I think, especially when it comes to streaming and live. And
Thank you, man.
I
You
mean-
know all about that too. You guys know Greg's got all the cameras too. Dude, I learned a lot from you, man. Chad doesn't know this. Maybe you do. I've learned a lot from Greg over the years.
There's
Thank you, man.
There's been a lot of discussions on how do we plug this into this.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, we've obviously talked about the space and the drumming amalgamation, but there's the bigger thing as well, which is your musicianship outside of streaming, which I know this is about content creation, but you've played with some really prolific people over the years. And I mean, it's a podcast where you're the guest, so shout it out, like let everyone know the insane stuff
sure.
you've done.
Of course. I just realized you put it, there's a Z in the end of my name. It's Enderprize with a Z. That's an S. Okay, never mind.
My, I am so dyslexic. 1 second. Let me fix. No,
I figured it's a
fixing.
text file. So you just be like. So the question is, who have I played with over the years?
Yes.
Sure. So obviously I've been, hey, thanks buddy. Look at that. I've played in over a dozen different professional touring bands. I've been lucky enough to travel much of the globe playing music for different bands. And I'm very thankful for those opportunities. I had some regional bands of my own in the late 2000s, Bad Ash, The Brunt of It, The Pomps. I got to do Warped Tour with a band called Far From Finished, street punk band. Wow. I was in a band called Rebuilder. I still play in that band sometimes. They're still doing shows. I got to do, probably one of the biggest things I got to do was play for the Toasters. The Toasters are a ska band from New York City from the early 1980s. I actually just played a show with them last week in my current band, but I got to do a U.S. tour in 2016 and a South American tour that started at a soccer stadium in Mexico City in 2015.
Wow.
And that's probably the biggest individual band in terms of like popularity. If you look up the band The Toasters, they have a legacy of over 40 years. And then more recently, I play in a band called Stop the Presses, ska and reggae band here in Brooklyn. Sometimes I play in a band called Outer National as well. And last year, I got the opportunity to do 3 shows in Outer National with Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on drums and me playing keys. We
That's
even
so cool,
played...
man.
It was one of the coolest things in my life to like be chill and hang out with one of my favorite drummers of all time. Like
Yeah.
I got to go to his house in the Hamptons to rehearse, and then I got to go to his house in Los Angeles to help his son learn some of the songs, because not only did Chad play with us, but his son played a couple songs as well, who was a very good drummer in his own right at age 16 or 17. We played a show on a flatbed trailer that drove through Manhattan for a couple hours, playing music in the streets, no permits. Like, it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. There's a music video on YouTube all about it. Yeah, that band called Outer National is the name of that band.
Yeah, that's, man, it's just, I won't lie, you know, drummer, obviously, myself. Getting to hang with Chad Smith, getting to hang with a hero is always one of the coolest. They say don't meet your heroes, but...
No, you can meet him. He is just as cool as you think he is. Like, no part of my interaction made me feel less than, even though he's been playing arenas since like 94, you know? And that's the testament of a wonderful human.
He just seems so, like you say, chill and laid back, which is, man, that's amazing. And, I mean... sort of going from that and obviously bringing the music to streaming over COVID, is there... I would... didn't he do a drum up with Will Ferrell?
Yeah, he did.
He did, yes.
On one of the late night shows.
They look incredibly alike. It's a little bit scary at times. But when it comes to the content creation and the music, is music your favorite thing to do?
Yes.
Or
absolutely.
Yeah?
Playing drums on a stage is the most comfortable place in the entire world for me. And honestly, the hardest thing about that reality is that if you want to do that, and you want to do that all the time, you have to be willing to give up everything in your life. Absolutely everything. And I did that for a while, and it was great, but after a while, you're like, man, it'd be nice to have some things again. Man, it'd be nice to have like a bed that's mine. Like that's the real truth.
Well, yeah, stuck on a tour bus, you don't exactly get your personal space.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
But I do love playing. I do love playing music. It's still my favorite thing in the entire world to do.
And when it comes to content then, is music your favorite content to make? Because for me, I would see those as maybe being a bit different, being on stage compared to...
They're very different. When I think about live stream content, I don't particularly like the way that most of us... Like, look, if we're going to do live stream content, it has to generate revenue. And there are ways that people have figured out work. And obviously, you know this because you do this as well. Playing drum covers online is a business model for playing the drums.
Yeah.
I particularly don't like doing that for hours on end. One, electric drums literally hurt my wrists because they're aggressive. Like the plastic cymbals.
Yep.
They hurt me. It feels like I played 2 hours when I play 1 hour, you know? So
Yeah.
I can't really do hours upon hours of drum covers on my e-kit. So for me, my favorite thing about my content is playing video games, specifically ones I'm passionate about, like Star Citizen, and then finding ways to mix the drums in, either organically when I think they'd be appropriate, or when someone throws out that sweet donation and requests a song specifically for them.
Yeah. I mean, so with the music, obviously Steinberg being the ones who created ASIO and VST, which we've discussed this before, but you use a lot of that tech in your setup. But when it comes to actually recording, have you ever recorded any music for stream?
I have never recorded anything specifically for my stream in terms of like a theme song or whatever. Like I do have a little jingle that I play that I recorded. It sounds like this. Oh wait, you don't get that.
We
you
don't
get
get
that through the mic. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Well, it's just me singing a little vocoder thing.
You will have to show it off later because...
Yeah, the answer is I have never recorded anything for the live stream. When I was at Berklee School of Music, I did take a handful of recording classes, so I'm pretty familiar with using like Pro Tools and Logic, and I've used Cubase a couple times. But I am definitely an amateur engineer in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, playing is definitely your thing and performing.
Yeah.
In the way of Berklee, because from my point of view, that there aren't really any schools in the UK with such prolific history for just putting out insane musicians as Berklee. What was it like going there? Tell me a bit about it. Like,
sure. Well, for one, when I got there, the first thing you are hit with is this feeling of I'm not alone. Because, for example, I'm from a really small town, and I was the most driven, dedicated drummer within like 10 years of my age.
Yeah.
Like even as a kid, like I was like, where are the other people that love playing drums as much as me? My music teacher is like the only one.
I can relate.
Like where are the others? And you get there and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a lot of other people like me. And oh no, are they better than me? Oh, I think they are. And when that happens, you have to like figure out what your mindset is, which is why Berklee, at least back when I went there, had a very, very high like semester 1 dropout rate. Because people
wow.
would get there and be like, wow, this is too hard. I don't know if I'm built for this, you know? But I really tried to take that as an opportunity to learn from the people who were better than me. So I was always meeting people on what we called the beach. The beach was kind of like the cement front of Mass Ave, where like the kids would go smoke who smoked, but also where you would talk with people. So I would like brave the smoke and like, just so I could like meet people and chat and try to ask people to come jam with me, because we had rehearsal spaces, a couple downtown, a few in the neighboring town of Alston where I lived. And I would try to set up jam sessions. I would try to ask questions like, hey, how'd you do that? Like, I think I learned almost just as much from the other students as I did the professors there, which I did have some amazing professors. Like my first 2 semesters were with Mike Mangini, the dude who was in Dream Theater for the past 10 years.
Yeah, Mike is
Mike's an alien.
Yeah, he's mind-bogglingly good.
Yeah, he's an alien. And our lessons were, as you would expect, very weird, but also incredibly helpful for a young drummer who really didn't know much except for like, I want to get better. Yeah. I want to get good, you know? I got to have classes with Skip Haddon, who was in Weather Report.
Yeah. Incredible.
Rod Morgenstein, who's in Dixie Dregs and Winger.
Yes, I've heard of
it. It was a really great experience for me. And when I look back, I wish I had activated even more. Like, I didn't do a lot of jazz studies. I was kind of nervous about jazz studies. I did the bare minimum there, but I wish I had leaned in more to the jazz faculty when I was there. I think that could have really enhanced my mental musical comprehension.
Yeah.
Had I allowed myself there, but I was too busy trying to be the fastest, tightest punk rock drummer I could, you know?
I think though, it's, as a musician, it's very easy to get swayed by every genre out there. I know for myself that I like to focus on drum and bass. And when I was drumming and beginning, it was, everything was just how can I play a better breakbeat? But
yeah, man, I also was super into drum and bass and trying to do acoustic versions of those beats. Like Jojo Mayer, one of my heroes.
Yes, Jojo Mayer, his DVD Secrets for the Modern Drummer.
I have it.
I think I've worn that out fully. It's kind of sad that Hudson Music and places like that aren't making those sorts of educational DVDs anymore. I think there's something a lot more focused about saying, right, I'm sitting down at my drums and putting on a DVD rather than just watching a YouTube video.
Exactly.
The irony of saying that we prefer DVDs over YouTube when we are both content creators. However,
I know, but you're right. It's about the focus. It's about the, I'm doing this and there's no other distractions. Play.
Yeah, most definitely. And so out of Berklee, when you come to actually learn something new now, for example, like streaming, is there anything that you've encountered that's made that easier over the years, especially within music?
Within music, on the invention of VOD track.
Oh yeah, that made the copyright system so much easier to navigate.
Twitch almost melted down for music a couple years ago. And VOD track was one of the saviors for literally everyone that plays music on Twitch.
Yeah.
And any platform.
It was a very tough time, that. So obviously the DMCA apocalypse, as we call it, happened on Twitch between, I would say, end of 2019 into end of 2021?
Something like that.
What year did you start streaming? You said
I began streaming in 2019.
It was 2019. Cool.
Yep.
And what was it like coming into the streaming world and experiencing that?
I basically came into, don't play any music that is not owned by you. Don't do it. And that was kind of when the rise of all these royalty-free things were coming out, like Stream Beats, and there's a few others. Pretzel Rocks. Like,
Yes.
I basically was like, you know what? I'm just going to play all royalty-free music always. So I like never played any real songs.
Yep.
I wasn't playing drums for my first maybe 2 years on the platform. I was mostly talking to nobody, playing Apex Legends. It wasn't until
I'm so sorry.
it wasn't until we all go through it. That's what streaming is. It's like, hey kid, want to be a streamer? Get ready to talk to yourself in a room for like a year. Unless you get lucky.
I meant I was sorry about the Apex Legends side.
Oh.
But no.
I think to go back to what you were saying, I did only royalty-free music in the beginning, and I waited until Twitch VOD Track premiered in maybe 2021.
Yes, it was
22, like whenever that was, that I was like, okay, now is the time I can start playing actual songs my audience wants to hear during my drum breaks, and not just generic chip tunes, which is what I basically played for the first couple years.
Yeah. You touched on something there that I'd love to sort of go back to, which is the first couple of years as a content creator, talking, or even months, weeks, it varies for everyone, but the talking to no one. And you'd said about Berklee in the way of there were people dropping out, and that happens in streaming. You know,
oh my God,
we see it all the time. But what was your experience of sort of that, from absolutely nothing to it now being your job?
Yeah, sure. So for me, and everyone else that goes through it, there are a lot of growing pains. You have an idea of what streaming is and what the reality of it is, and then you get into it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually what it is. Okay. Yeah. And for me, it was just a casual thing a couple nights a week in the beginning. And it wasn't until the lockdowns, where I was spending all day teaching online lessons instead of being out in the city. And it was easier to get on stream because I was already home. Yeah. So I was streaming longer. And for me, it was the game switch, because I was playing popular games.
Yes.
With at the bottom of the list, Apex Legends, Overwatch, like stuff like that. Call of Duty, games that are saturated with thousands and thousands of people. And at the same time, I'd always loved Elite Dangerous. I began playing that game in 2015. And I was like, maybe I'll try playing that game. In my mind, I was like, this is too small of a game. But within the first week or so, more people were showing up in my chat. And I realized, oh, wait a minute. If you play a game that has maybe 1,000 viewers and you're consistent, you're always there at the same time, people can actually find you in that scrolling thing.
Yeah.
And that's how I started to slowly get more views and slowly get more and more traction. And within that year, I got partnered, and I learned so much about the job and so much about how you choose what game you play, right? Yeah. And then to fast forward, the last 10 months of my career have been transformative, because I began posting 2 to 3 videos a day on all social platforms without fail. And that has given me another 30% on my viewership. Wow. I hit my highest sub revenue in the history of doing this job about 5 months ago, just from posting every day. Because the truth that everyone beats over and over again is there's no discoverability on live streams. You got to post videos. Well, you know what? They're right. They are absolutely correct. These platforms, I don't care about you. If you want someone to watch you on them, you have to make compelling, interesting videos on other platforms. Now, the hard thing about that is, how do you do that while you're streaming 6 hours a day and also doing other stuff? And the answer is flashback recording. Yeah. I use the ATIM vertical plugin, which you know all too well. I hit a little button on my Stream Deck every time something good happens. It saves the last 4 minutes. When the show is done, I go to those clips. I go to the very end of the last 5 seconds and go, funny or not, or interesting. And the winners go on to Dropbox, and then they go on to my phone, and then they go on my socials. And that's how I've been able to actually get more views and become a bigger creator over the past 10 months.
And where are you posting this?
TikTok.
Is it
Instagram,
mainly TikTok?
YouTube.
Okay, interesting. See, this is, from a...
in the morning and at night. And I also do a go live video on TikTok right before every stream.
Do you get many people coming in from the go live videos?
Yes.
Wow.
On TikTok, yes. Because when you live stream on TikTok and post a video at the same time, and you get views on both or interactions on both, they help push you up.
Right.
Because of their dual thing. Because I'm multi-streaming whenever I do this. Not right now. I'm only with you right now. But normally I would also be on, I'd normally be on vertical platforms. And yeah, the time management side, that is really, really important. Because if we go back in time, 2 years ago, I tried to hire someone. I mean, not tried, I did. I hired 3 different editors to make videos for me. And they were good videos, but it was costing me money. It wasn't getting me that many views. And ultimately, I wasn't in control of it. And being in control of it helps me manage my own mind and my own expectations. And the flashback recording and little tweaks to my schedule is what has made it possible. Yeah. Because I realized that when you finish a stream and you're tired and you want to go crash out, I get it. But if you can keep that energy going for 10 more minutes, maybe even 5 more minutes to find that clip that was good, post it, then take the same video from TikTok, put it on Instagram, same video, put it on YouTube. You are going to get views. You're going to get engagement that you would have never gotten before. Then you can crash out.
Yeah.
Then you can melt into your couch or whatever you need to do. That's my biggest piece of advice for anyone that wants to stream and get new people to show up.
It's a fantastic, fantastic advice. And funnily enough, considering that, you know, Atom and everything, I don't actually do short form content myself because of that time restriction. And it's always quite an interesting point when you come back to editing. So I myself have hired people in the past. I know so many content creators who have, and they all seem to run into exactly what you said, which is you sort of lose an amount of control. And I think one of the big things in content creation is really carving out your niche, not just in what you're doing, which obviously you do fantastically with the gaming and the drumming combined, but your personality and you in the way of, because live streaming is a performance. Even if you're yourself.
You're on.
Yeah.
Like on air. It's like being a radio DJ with no music. It's like you all the time and they can see you.
Yeah.
So you have to rise to the occasion and develop a kind of persona that is consistent, because you can make yourself seem like anyone in a YouTube video through the magic of editing.
Yeah.
But to convey someone that is not genuine on a live stream that goes for hours, people are going to see what you're really like. Yeah. And you're going to see yourself. You're like, damn, do I look like that? Do I sound like that? Like you go through that your own way, you know? And this is kind of part of the whole performer versus session musician thing, I think, as well. People that are good on stage and prefer being on stage, I think usually make better live stream creators than engineers, or rather session players who like just play, because that's more like focused. But it depends on the kind of content, you know, like there's a lot of different kinds of drum content out there.
Yeah, we saw quite a few of the bigger drummers come onto Twitch, especially during lockdown. And you bring up an incredibly valid point. The people who were on stage consistently rather than the session drummers immediately clicked into the audience interaction, the back and forth, and the way you have to feed things. I would love to know, when it comes to streaming, is there any time that you've had that stood out as just one of those moments where you'll never forget it?
Easy.
You know, what is your like top pick of, holy crap, that just happened?
Oh, easy. I have an easy answer for you. When Elite Dangerous Odyssey launched, which was the expansion back in, I want to say 2020, they put a base in the game called the Ender's Enclave. And they sent me this little plaque thing that I still keep on my desk, that if I hold up to the camera, you can see says Ender's Enclave in the middle. And they got me on the front page of Twitch where I broadcast for 1 hour to 30,000 people. It's the biggest stream I've ever done. I was kind of a very small streamer back then. I only had a couple thousand followers, and it was like, this is what it is. This is what doing the job is like. And it skewed my metrics for years. And I have been trying to get an opportunity like that ever since then, because I know I would crush it now because I'm so much better at the job. My visuals are better. My chat interactions are better. My control of myself and my voice and my tone is better. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get 30,000 viewers in my chat again, but I know when I do, I'm going to crush it because I'm ready for it.
Yeah. No, man, that little glass engraving thing is so cool.
Yeah. That's why it sits on my desk. And like, even though I don't play that game anymore and I don't like what they did with the development cycles, I'll never forget that Frontier Developments made those two things happen for me. Yeah. They put my name in a video game that I love. And they were like, hey, you're going on the front page of Twitch. Here's the time. You know, like.
The question is, did you go visit Ender's Enclave on front page?
Of course. Oh, of course. Oh,
Good.
Dude, like, yes, 100%.
No, that is a wonderful experience. And I think when it comes to content creation, those experiences are the ones that we all chase. If you were to give someone who was, say, starting out content creation a couple of pieces of advice, what would they be? Let's get like you know, Ender's top tips.
Sure.
Like, what's your 3 biggest pieces of advice that you could give someone? You've already given everyone the gem of short form.
Got it. Okay, so I think the number one thing is, why should someone watch you?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that question. Why should they watch you? What do you do, or what do you say that is inherently unique, fun, special, educational, interesting, like whatever that is? Because we all know how saturated the world of streaming is, just like music. Yep. What makes you different from other things out there? And that could be anything. You're like, well, I play Fortnite and I wear a banana hat. Oh, okay. Like, that's one thing that you could do that's different, but what else is there? What's underneath the banana hat? Okay. So that's number one. I think number 2 would be, think about who your audience is. Like, who is your audience?
Yep.
And what do they want? And how do you organically and naturally make content that serves that particular audience? They go hand in hand, you know, with number 1 being, who are you? What makes you worth watching? And then, now that you got that, who's watching you and what do they want? And how do you give that to them in a way that seems organic and fun and natural and not awkward or like forced, you know?
Yes.
And then I think number 3, if I'm going to give the third tip, I've already got it. The third tip is, learn enough about video and audio so that you look and sound good. Because if you look like this on stream, this is fine. Like, plenty of streamers have huge careers with terrible cameras or no lights. There's always exceptions to the rule. But I spent a couple years binge watching YouTube videos about lighting. How does lighting work? What's a key light? What's a fill light? How do I set that stuff up? Cameras. What's exposure? What is brightness? What is contrast? Like, you don't have to know everything. Just learn enough that you can make yourself look and sound professional. Because if there's 2 choices on your table, one stream has this dude who plays a game that you like, and this dude plays a game that you like, and they're almost the same, but one of them looks and sounds better. If you don't know that person yet, there's a really good chance you're going to go to the one that looks and sounds better and get to know them, because it's a subconscious thing. Like, when we see something that looks good, we're like, oh, okay. And when we hear something that sounds pleasing, we're like, oh, I want to listen more.
So you touched on, I mean, it's Steinberg. audio is Steinberg's thing. Let's quickly talk just maybe more
Yeah.
about audio. When
Sure.
when you started out and as you've come through your streaming journey, what have been the biggest maybe steps with audio for you? Because I mean, we all start out with basically zero gear and we build it up. What were the key things that you were like, right, here's where you began and what you used equipment wise, maybe, or even just learning a certain piece of software to improve it? If there was, again, sort of like distilling it down into a couple of tips or your really hard hitting improvements that you're like, this just leveled me up.
I think for me, it was getting better at working with audio input on PCs, because audio input on a PC is always challenging.
Yeah.
And especially with a lot of live streaming software like OBS, a lot of that software is not designed for the professional music world. It's better now. A lot has happened in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, it is a whole new ball game. If you're getting into streaming now, there is way better stuff for you to use than what you and me used 6 years ago.
I remember I first opened OBS in 2015 and did a little recording and came out of it. And I was using at the time a very expensive mixing desk in the audio studio in my uni. And I remember going, why does this sound horrendous? It turns out that at the time, it was something like OBS could only accept 160 kilobits a second for audio bit rate.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Now we finally have 320. We're getting there. No, you are incredibly right. The advancements in the last couple of years have been incredible, especially after COVID. I think that really brought streaming to the forefront, didn't it?
Because everyone needed that all of a sudden. The world all of a sudden was like, wait a minute, I need to get good video and audio into the computer. Like, once the world needed that, all the companies were like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, here's the gear. Oh my God. And now you could like throw a wrench into a pile of USB microphones, and there's so many good ones.
Yeah, there really are.
Like,
it is so much easier to go live, and I think it's only going to continue improving over hopefully
just like
the next
making
couple of
music.
years.
Just like making music gets easier. Like, making music now is so much easier than it used to be, especially once we combine AI tools into there. And like, I think if I'm going to just jump a little bit here, jump ahead of the conversation, as live streaming gets more and more easy to do, it's going to go back to being all about who is on the camera and who's on the mic. Like, the individual is truly the only thing left, because it's not like you can have a platform necessarily just by being all about the tech. I mean, you can. There's people like Sushi Dragon who do stuff that I cannot even understand.
That man's insane.
Yeah, there's only one, the Sushi Dragon. Like, it's all about you. And it's always going to be all about you. That's why IRL streaming has been taking off so much. Like, it's just about the person, you know?
Well, I mean, that's a huge point, is the reason people watched streaming and went to watching streaming over COVID was they'd watched everything on Netflix. You know, what do you really get back in the way of interaction when you are home alone and can't go outside from an anime series, for example, where going onto a live stream and being able to say, hey, Ender, what ship are you flying today? And you immediately in real time respond and then, play a song. That is so much more rewarding.
Yes.
So, just looking at the time, the one thing I do want to make sure we have time for is questions.
Sure.
So, but is there anything else you would sort of add in the way of your content creation journey so far has been fantastic? Where do you want to go? What's the future aspiration for Enderprize as a brand? You as a person?
Got it.
Tell me where you want to be. Jetting off to.
Yes. I want what I want to continue growing the thing I do now, the show that I do now. Like, I would love to get to the point where my viewership is doubled, if not tripled, with more people to talk to, more people to see what I do, especially more drummers. I would love to have more drummers and musicians in my chat to help balance out the space video game fans that I have. So that's one thing. I'd love to be able to just keep doing more and, obviously get more subscriptions, grow into like a more of a legitimate career. And then the second thing is I would love to get into voiceover work.
Oh, really?
I would love to get into doing voiceovers for video games, for anime, for commercials as a stepping stone from my stream world, and not in a way that I'm like doing voices and characters, more in a way that like I am using my speaking voice I'm using right now.
Yeah.
That is kind of what I want to do after live streaming. I would love to start those breadcrumbs so that that's the other career I move to in like, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, you have the setup for it. So you've already passed probably the initial hardest step for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
I just got to get more popular online. The more popular the creator, the higher the chance of this kind of work happens or turns into,
Yeah, most definitely.
So yeah.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. So before you go, anyone in the chat, do you have any questions for Enderprize about either his content creation journey or the setup he has? Is there something you've been struggling with it that you'd like to ask him? This is the time and the place. We've got about, what shall we say, 10 minutes to talk about this stuff. I always like to leave a good amount of time. WTF Darky says, would you consider Cubase for your voiceover recordings? It could greatly benefit your possibilities.
I mean, I would say the answer is yes. I currently don't have any like DAW software actually installed on either of my computers here.
I mean, well, you're talking to the right people. We might have to, but we might have to send some emails after the stream, get some connections going.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Cubase would be probably incredibly beneficial for starting that journey. Like I say, you've got everything else. I think all you need is a good DAW to be able to start recording. And I've got a couple of friends who've gone into voice acting work, and they started by just creating clips and throwing it out on TikTok, which you're already an expert on. So
cool.
Best way to go. So DeoxyStream says, so I just begun Elite Dangerous and I'm lost. Interested in core mining and assumed you're the one to ask.
Yeah. So what's funny about that is that I would say the way I got partnered on Twitch was I hosted a Wednesday night Elite Dangerous mining party called the Midweek Grind. We did this every Wednesday night for a full year. I made a flyer every week that was different. We had, in the beginning, a couple, and then dozens, and then 30, and then 40, and then 50. And like every week, people would be showing up just to try to get into our mining party, where we would literally fight the video game for like 1 hour to get all the people in the place, because the instancing is like a nightmare. But that's how I got partnered, was developing that community that wanted to hang out and chat and mine in this space game. So in terms of getting better at mining in Elite Dangerous, you got to go and watch the streamers that play that game. Like, look up the top streamers that are still playing Elite Dangerous. Off the top of my head, I'm not even sure who that is anymore because things move so quickly.
Yeah.
But go find out who the top streamers are that are still playing the game and see if they're doing mining parties and just join them.
I think also, though, you touched on something quite incredible there, which is you use that to create and build a community. You used the game as a pivotal point to build a core community who loved not only what you were doing and what you were playing, but hanging out with you, which is the
people I met then still watch me now. A lot of them. I've got 5-year subs from that time period, and I wouldn't have my job without those couple dozen supportive, generous people that I met back then. I know I wouldn't have survived the for me, the 2004 drop of like, oh my God, my show's not getting any bigger. I'm not growing as an artist. I'm never going to be where I want to be in this job. Everything is terrible. And that's when I was like, I got to post videos every day. We're going to post videos every day. It's going to happen. And we are now, and things are good.
You also had the side of your house fall off or something,
Oh,
if I remember?
yes. 2 years ago, I came home to a building collapsed into my backyard in Brooklyn, New York. It was an abandoned building, fell into my yard. Nobody got hurt, but the city showed up within 2 hours and was like, hey, you got to go. Sorry. Grab your stuff. We're, what? So my wife and I had to like gather up our cats and clothes and live in a hotel for 2 days and then live in an Airbnb for a month while I made content in the kitchen of that like Airbnb. We did a GoFundMe. The community helped us raise $10,000. Insurance also kicked out around the same. And that's how I eventually found the place I'm at now. And that's when I rebuilt my studio. And it was a really, really hard time in my life for many, many reasons. But I found a way through it. And the stream community that I had developed and the musical connections I developed over the years really helped me and my wife out of that situation and into a much better one.
It's a testament to how incredible live streaming communities especially are. And it's so glad you landed on your feet from it.
Oh, yeah.
So WTF Darky again has asked, how safe is your setup? So you've got so much hardware and audio and video.
Sure, I got that. So
Unroll's list of tech issues.
When you say safe, I think you mean like electrically safe. So I'm very careful about the circuits. As my old studio, I used to overload some of the switches. Like actually, the breakers would flip.
Wow.
So my new studio is set up better. I have a big old rack case next to me with a Furman power conditioner that all my audio stuff goes into. And then there's a different plug down the hall that my gaming PC goes to. So I use high grade extension cables for the PCs to go to different plugs. So there's 3 circuits being used in my apartment: gaming PC, streaming PC, and then all of the lights and tech in the room to make sure that I don't flip any breakers, because I live in an apartment in an old city with old buildings, and I have to be careful to not overload any of the wiring in these old buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I've built this in an apartment, people still hit me up all the time. They're like, wait a minute, you did this in your apartment? And I'm like, yes.
It's a wonderfully created room, and you can see the love and care that's gone into crafting it. Again, it's not just a load of equipment that you've put in and you've set up a couple of cameras. I remember us obviously talking about when you were planning it out, the amount of time that you took to consider angles and the setup, especially of the drum kit where it is now compared to the old place. Because
every scene has to tell a story, and this is something that I also did a lot of research on in my like video work. It's like, what makes good video? What makes compelling shots? And I have some filmmaker friends. One of my old bandmates, a guy named Justin Brooks, he was in my first band, Bad Ash. He's a full-time horror movie filmmaker now. And he gave me a lot of tips when I was trying to come up with like angles that have depth to them. And then of course the challenge is, how do you make 11 different scenes with different lighting where the lights aren't in the way of the shot? Like, that's another thing that I've gotten a lot better at doing, is hiding lights or knowing when it's okay to see a light. And honestly, I can't wait until the day comes where I get to upgrade into a bigger place and upgrade my content with it. I have plans for what I'd love to do in the future if I ever get to that place. And that's all based on how many people are in the chat watching the show.
Yeah.
Click and subscribe, or just being there for sponsors to then see and be like, oh, this guy's got so many 1,000 viewers, let's do a thing with them. Like, it all comes from where the community is at and what level we're at. That's how we get to figure out where I go next.
Yeah. No, absolutely incredible. So unless we have any last questions right now, we will end this. However, we did discuss this earlier. I know the answer, but who would you like to raid tonight?
Oh, me.
You. Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to go live on my channel. Like, as soon as you want me to, I'll click live, and then I'll be live on my channel. And then the people who are here can come to my place and see what we do here. Maybe I'll play some drums for you if you're lucky.
Oh, that would be really nice. No, I definitely think that it's one thing showing it on the podcast, but it's another thing being there and experiencing it. So, yes, I don't think we have any other questions. So, Enderprize, my man, thank you so much for jumping in. And also, everyone, just so you all know, Enderprize jumped in last minute as a favor, pulled this all together, was like, yes, I can appear on the show after the original person who will be appearing at a later date but had some commitments pop up. So again, a huge thank you, man, for coming on. It's been wonderful chatting, and
Yeah,
I hope
Greg.
everyone here has learned something, because you've been like throwing out incredible points and advice. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
No, proud dude. Loved it.
We will see you over on your channel in a couple of minutes.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Bye, chat. See you soon.
See you later, man. Thanks. There we go. Ender is the best streamer ever. Ender and I have known each other for a while on in the Twitch sphere. Myself and him on my own personal channel, I do multi-camera setup and things like that. And I run about 35 cameras. And I remember the first time that Ender, he found my stream and he came in and was like, how are you running all these cameras? And we started chatting, and then he was talking about where he wants to get to. And it's been wonderful to see his stream just advance over the years in the way of the technicality, the way he is, as he'd said, you know, that sort of like presentation of himself, but also finding that he can be more of himself on stream. Absolutely fantastic show, absolutely fantastic guy, and thank you for the shout out for Enderprize. If you are here and you're not from Enderprize's community, please click that link, drop him a follow, and yeah, you'll well, we're gonna go over and see the show in just a minute. I'm gonna make sure that he has gone live, and then we'll go say hi. So let me just do that. But again, thank you everyone for watching today. This is episode 2 of the Steinberg deep dive into creation, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of these. There are so many talented creators out there, not just in music, but in gaming, in IRL streaming, and I want to try and get as many of them on to discuss their individual journeys as we can over the next couple of months. Of course, Steinberg do make some incredible audio products, and I'm always going to be asking them how they could upgrade their audio. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But it's just fantastic to talk about these people's experiences. And again, if you are a budding content creator, or you're watching this VOD at a later date, Enterprise's advice there is, it's good. It's fantastic. You should take it. So right, we're going to go over and raid Enterprise. I will see you all not next week, but I believe the week after, just because myself and the Steinberg team and the other people will be all traveling to TwitchCon, basically. Going to be out there in San Diego. So if you are also in San Diego, I'll be there personally. If you want to come and say hi, you can. You will find me wandering around the exhibition hall. But until then, yeah. Thank you so much for watching again. You're all incredible. And we'll see you all next time.